Hey dumplings, it's Dave Decide. Today I want to get into a recent trend this morning of Taeyang and this girl, and of course the rumors of them dating. And I also want to get into a HYBE forced disbandment conspiracy theory that people have. So hater or not, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on. Grab your dumpling, tea spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. So I woke up this morning to the news that the group NEWEST was disbanding. I'm not entirely sure when this was all decided, but it is reported that the official disbandment date is going to be March 15th. And of course, with the upsetting news, it becomes difficult for the fandom to kind of face it and be like, oh, this is happening. And that's okay. I went through the exact same emotions, and I went through these emotions like 50 times already. But it's interesting that since people are so upset, there became a lot of conspiracy theories on what happened, especially since there are so many people who don't like BigHit or HYBE, and they try to look for reasons about what could have caused this, saying it's the company's fault, that they think HYBE was behind this and forced a disbandment. Of course, I don't agree, but I want to talk about this conspiracy. So NEWEST is signed to BigHit, and BigHit has maybe about 4 or so pretty big artists like BTS, TXT, 17, and NEWEST. There might be a few more I am missing. But NEWEST was a very established group already before BigHit bought it. And BigHit owns NEWEST's previous label now. And NEWEST had a lot of success. It was theorized that NEWEST had no intention of breaking up before the new year, and this was apparent because in one of their shows that had ended, like the season was over, they announced on the show that this was temporary goodbye because they were planning on something for the following year. And many of their posts had also talked about how the members were going to see the fans next year as well. This of course implied that they had no intention of leaving the group, because if they did, they probably would have simply cut that part out of the show or tried to wrap the show up correctly and give it an ending. And then suddenly it was announced that the members wanted to disband, and it's like, what? Some people theorize, and this is where you put on your tin hats, that HYBE or BigHit are forcing their own artists or are buying and acquiring other labels just to get those artists that they acquire to break up so that BTS has less competition. That literally makes no sense to me, because one, why would they purposely lose out on making money? BTS having competition is not worse than losing money. They would rather have competition than lose money. And competition is only a problem when they lose money. Also, no one says it's competition within their own label. If you have been following HYBE or BigHit for a while, you can see that they have been relentlessly trying to expand their business model. Way earlier in their company, BTS was reported to allegedly be making 90% of the company's revenue. And now it's allegedly reported that they're 40% or something like that. And this is of course after HYBE now owns so many different labels. A group disbanding is tragic for the label itself. They lose out on another one of their potential moneymakers. The company loses out on hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars that they put into this group. And now the company has to put in millions of more dollars to promote and train a new group to take the place of the old one that is now leaving. A disbandment could come for several reasons. NEWEST also debuted in 2012. They've been around for 10 years. Maybe they all collectively just decided they would rather go and live their life and enjoy their life instead of constantly just working. Maybe they decided that on the books, having a 10-year-long boy band career looks really good, and it's better to end it at 10 than 11 or 12. And just because they said it in a video or several videos that there were plans for 2022 doesn't actually mean that when 2022 comes, they don't have a different mindset about that decision. It literally takes a day to completely change your mind about something, especially as an adult when you realize how short life is and you want to act fast. Most groups, it's been proven, don't go past 7 years. NEWEST went past that, so it shows that they don't hate each other, but maybe they're just tired. They could also want more for themselves and want to try solo work. They have been doing their group work for so long, and there could be something else for them. Maybe go into acting or go into a solo album. It really shows we do not know what goes on behind the scenes, but I highly doubt that there is ever a big forced disbandment of a group that has shown success. That doesn't happen. Companies want to make money. There's always another reason. On a semi-unrelated note, in case you're wondering, celebrities also never come out and just say something. It's kind of like a hidden rule that their team gives them. In PR or public relations, the team will always say that the goal of their job is to get people wondering or talking. That is what a celebrity is supposed to do. And so this idea, very few things are ever made specifically really clear. And this is not talking about NEWEST. This is just the general reason why oftentimes we never get a statement on things. Obviously, I don't think NEWEST disbanding news was made for publicity, but it's just a note in case you were wondering why celebrities can't just come out and address things. Or even sometimes do semi-dumb things and you're like, really? And we also probably shouldn't expect celebrities to come out and talk about everything. One of the reasons, I think NEWEST may just give a generic answer to everything, and their reason could be a lot more personal, and they don't need to explain those personal things to us, and we can accept that. One of the main reasons I love BTS so much is because they do eventually reveal everything, and it may even be because their label pretty much lets them do whatever they want. It was interesting to see Taeyang being photographed when he was out and about during his little break, and he decided to go and visit a museum. It looked like he brought along a friend, but I believe it was later clarified that the woman that we know that was next to Taeyang at the museum was a woman that was just there, and the two are just acquaintances. Now, this is semi-old news that was debunked by Taeyang and BigHit themselves. Why am I bringing it up? It ended up getting some traction online within the last 24 hours, and it was so confusing to me because if you're unaware, I believe it was a couple of news articles or whatnot that decided to talk about Taeyang and this woman and leaked several quote-unquote proof of Taeyang dating her. And Taeyang got really upset because the woman was possibly getting harassed, and she isn't a public figure, so it was just very uncalled for, and it kind of put Taeyang in a weird position where maybe even the woman was trying to get in contact with Taeyang and be like, do something. Because getting death threats all at once is terrifying, especially if you have no idea what just happened, and probably a bit scared to look on the internet and find out. Taeyang made it clear he did not date this person, and his version of an apology was like a middle finger to the haters. He said he wished to sing UGG and even deleted a post saying how he wanted to shoot poison needles in the back of the hater's neck. And this was definitely called for because the haters have said way worse things to him and his acquaintance friend. By the way, I don't want to say this woman's name, although it's all over the internet. I am just going to refer to her as woman. Recently, people began this theory to say that the two are 100% dating, and saying that apparently this woman has a fake Instagram account that she uses to keep up with Taeyang and Taeyang's friends and to hide that she's actually dating Taeyang. I am not seeing actual proof that this account is this woman's account. It's so strange that someone would just make something up and like one person will believe it's real. Like the woman has a fake Instagram account and then every evidence is built on top of that lie, and then it just seems real because there's so much evidence. But the evidence can only be true if that account is indeed the woman's, which there is no evidence of. And of course, HYBE and Taeyang have both denied this. If they were dating, they can't deny it. I think people like to think that these companies have to lie, but they can't deny it, because when someone finds out, let's say Dispatch or Sasaeng's, then the company will get in big trouble for lying. And that backlash is worse than just admitting it. And Taeyang is famous, the label is famous, and if they have secrets, it will come out. And the backlash for lying could potentially sink their stock and investors. Why would they want to risk that? They would just tell the truth, which is that they're not dating. There's like these fan accounts that are fighting over this, and even people saying that what is the issue with Taeyang dating? Just accept that he is. I think a lot of people don't have an issue with Taeyang dating. There's immature people, of course, that would be upset, but I have to believe that it is less of those people, and especially looking at the past relationships with Jennie from Blackpink and Bobby from iKON and just whoever recently has announced dating, it seems like the general public is more accepting of this now, and it's not career ending. So no one or less people are against Taeyang dating, but maybe against the idea that he is dating this woman because he has denied it. Now, by saying it's true, you're going against his wishes to not be dating her, and it's clear that he really wants people to know it's not true for whatever reason, and it's likely because this woman is getting hate. There are theories that if the company announces Taeyang is dating her, they might lose out on ticket sales for their concert, and I find that hard to believe. Their ticket sales for concerts sell out in half a second, and there's millions of people still with their credit card out, and if there were more seats, they'd fill up too. If someone is like, I'm not going to BTS concert because I no longer have a chance to date Taeyang, great. Tell me which seat you would have taken and I will take that seat for you. I also have like 10 people that I know that have been trying to get seats as well and would take your 10 other friends that are not going now. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.